Hello everyone, so this is the quick review video on how to do PICO Portal. So what you're going to do after you log on to the platform, click your power training group. It'll be 1, 2, or 3. You won't have these other ones here, but you click on that and you're going to come to a landing page that looks like this. And there are 2 ways you can do this. Hit this screening button right there, and that will take you to your screening articles. This is your title, this is your abstract, and you're going to read these and go through that list of flowchart reasons as to why you should be including or excluding an article. And let's say that it meets all your criteria that you want. Then all you're going to do is come over here and click yes to include. If you come across something that's like, I'm not really sure, then you're going to click maybe. If you click maybe, you need to write down your reason why. That way, if you come across that, let's say you click maybe and another reviewer clicks no, or another reviewer clicks yes, you guys can talk to each other and resolve what was going on and which person's right. So make sure you record your reason why. If you think that you should exclude it, you have to go in order, but you're going to click and select your reason for exclusion as to why. So like, let's pretend that this didn't say American students, it said British students. You would click no USA, but you can only click no USA if you first established that it does indeed talk about physicians with disabilities or students with disabilities, which is what we see here. Clearly, we're seeing medical students. If it's talking about anxiety or depression, that it does call it a disability, which this is not talking about that, so we can just skip that step entirely, and that it is talking about something that is relevant to undergraduate, bachelor degree, pre-med, or undergraduate medical education, which is medical school, or graduate medical education, which is, residency, fellowship. This is talking about medical students. It says here, medical school graduates. It could be actual attending physicians, which an attending physician has completed the whole timeline, right? It can be like an interview with an attending physician, but they're talking about their medical school experiences, or maybe they're talking about something that can happen to medical students or residents or pre-meds. That is fine too. So after we've established that it does all of that and it includes a barrier, which I'm not going to read through this, but let's just pretend it does somewhere, then you can click like no USA. But let's say this is something like, again, among British medical students instead of America, but you find that they didn't discuss any barriers. You're going to select no barriers, not no USA, because that's the first thing that you're going to come across. You have to go in order. But once you do that, you select your reason and you're going to hit exclude. I'm not actually going to do it because I don't want to mess this up, but once you do, it will take you to the next article. If you don't want it to like flip through the articles like that, and you want to hit your reason for exclude, maybe look at it a bit or take notes after, then you can turn off this auto advance. But if you're fine with it clicking to the next one, it's on. Another thing the PICO Portal does is that it tries to highlight words that it thinks will help you make a decision. These are useful just to like help you find stuff quickly, but don't rely on them. So here it thinks that you want something like U.S. residents and disabilities. The darker the color means the more applicable it thinks the information is. This is kind of helpful, but it's not, necessary. And if you don't want to see it, you can turn it off. That's what those highlights mean. Take them with a grain of salt, basically. But yeah, it's just going to click through your articles and you're going to go through and screen them. If you see a button like this, open access PDF, it's going to take you to the PDF if it happens to be an open access article. Sometimes it accidentally shows you some extra supplementary information that isn't the article, but you should not be clicking on this button right now. We're not in full text. We don't want you to read the full text. We just want you to look at title and the abstract. When we get to full text review, then we can, look at that stuff. But at that point, it'll show up like in here, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Once in a while, you'll run into some formatting issues. Like for some reason, it included this slash in the title. Just ignore that. Sometimes there's some curly brackets, but overall, it's a pretty solid platform. So just go ahead and do your title abstract. If you're not sure and you're not ready to click maybe, you can just go to the next article. Something else that's kind of like I included to throw you some curveballs. Some articles, whether they be commentaries or just some other article format, don't have an abstract. And that doesn't mean that you exclude the article. That means, the rule is when in doubt, push it through to full text. So if you don't have enough evidence from the title alone, then you're not sure if you should include it, and it doesn't have an abstract, you should be including it to full text just because that's where we're going to really do the deep dive and make sure that it should be in the study. When in doubt, always push it through because we can always take a deeper look at it. So that's that. If you need to get back to your dashboard to where everything's kind of laid out, you're just going to hit projects up here or PICO Portal, and then you're just going to have to go back and like click on that in there. The other way to do it is to click on the highlighted or like the blue linked pending screening button, and that'll take you to it as well. Eventually, it's going to give you the option to do full text on here. Don't start that yet. We have to kind of teach you how to do that. It's a bit more involved than abstract review. But yeah, just stay in this top light blue box. Anyway, try to get this done before our next meeting. If you have any questions, obviously reach out. I'm pretty available and would be happy to answer questions. There's no stupid questions. If this stuff, especially disability, is new to you, there's going to be a lot of things that you haven't come across yet, which is totally, absolutely fine. But yeah, just focus on the screening button, focus on this little blue 30, and you should be good to go.